Know Austin Butler a little bit?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab your arm.
Yeah.
A lot actually. I adore him.
Lisa Marie Presley has spent her whole life in the spotlight, and as the only daughter of the king himself, that makes sense. With her tragic passing on Thursday, January 12th at the age of 54, we are going to take a little look at her life for anyone who wants to know more, but hates reading. I'm Adam Andrews, and this is Where Are They Now? Born in 1968 at what was arguably the peak of her dad's fame, Lisa Marie Presley should have had a pretty blessed life. She was the princess to the king of rock and roll. She lived at her father's famous home, Graceland. She had access to ponies, a private amusement park, and staff who worked at the residence, but life rarely goes the way we hope. Elvis and Lisa Marie's mother, Priscilla, separated in 1972 when Lisa Marie was only 4, and 5 years later, at 9 years old, she was the last one to see her father alive at 4 o'clock in the morning before his passing on August 16th, 1977 at 42 years old. The funeral of her father was marked by tragedy as well when a car hit a group of Elvis's fans, taking the lives of 2 of them. And then, not too long after that, some absolutely garbage human being tried to steal the body from the mausoleum where it was being held. Luckily for the family, Priscilla is apparently a genius and was able to turn around the Elvis estate, turning Graceland into a tourist destination, capitalizing on merchandising, image deals, and song royalties to leave Lisa Marie with a huge inheritance when the time came, and leaving the trust with $100 million by 1993. In her youth, Lisa Marie did have some trouble acting out and experimenting with different substances, which had Priscilla send her to a bunch of different private schools, which Lisa Marie struggled with as well, being known as a bit of a rebel back in her day. But Lisa Marie went on to eventually launch her own music career, trying to put aside any pressure she felt from comparisons that would be made between her and her father. Her debut album, To Whom It May Concern, reached number 5 on the Billboard 200 albums chart and certified gold the summer of 2003, the year it came out. After her initial album release, Lisa Marie Presley followed it up with 2 more albums, Now What in 2005 and Storm and Grace in 2012. Now outside of, but still somewhat related to her music career, was Lisa Marie Presley's love life. She had been married 4 times, with the biggest names here being somewhat underrated actor Nicolas Cage and another king, the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Presley's first husband was musician Danny Keough in 1988. Together these two had 2 kids, actress and model Riley Keough, and then their son Benjamin Storm Keough. Presley and Keough would eventually get divorced in May of 1994, and then Lisa Marie ended up getting married to Michael Jackson around 3 weeks later in the same year. Her marriage to Jackson lasted until January 1996 when they divorced from each other. Now, around 2 years after that is when she met Nicolas Cage at a party, and eventually these two had a very brief marriage from August to November of 2002, with their divorce being eventually finalized in 2004. And then her 4th and final marriage came with her guitarist, director, and music producer Michael Lockwood. And this marriage was a little bit more successful than the previous 2, lasting from 2006 up until their divorce in 2016. During this marriage, the couple welcomed twins, Finley Aaron Love Lockwood and Harper Vivian Ann Lockwood in 2007. In 2020, Lisa Marie Presley went through one of the most difficult things any parent would have to go through when her son, Benjamin, lost his life by his own hands at 27 years old. This took place at a home she had purchased 4 months earlier in March. Presley wrote an essay in September of 2021 talking about the passing of her son to mark National Grief Awareness Day. In her essay, she said, quote, "My and my 3 daughters' lives as we knew it were completely detonated and destroyed by his death. We live in this every single day. Grief is something you will have to carry with you for the rest of your life. In spite of what certain people or our culture wants us to believe, you do not get over it. You do not move on. Period." She also spoke a lot about finding comfort in the company of others who went through the same kind of experience, but also about how before she went through it herself, she used to avoid these people out of fear, saying, quote, "I can recall a couple of times in my life where I knew parents who lost their child, and while I could be there for them when it happened, I avoided them after and never bothered to follow up with them because they quite literally became a representation of my biggest fear." But she soldiered through with the help of her daughters, writing, "I keep going for my girls. girls. I keep going because my son made it very clear in his final moments that taking care of his little sisters and looking out for them were on the forefront of his concerns and his mind. He absolutely adored them, and they him. Now obviously, Presley struggled hard with the loss of her son, and when she made her last public appearance at the Golden Globes 2 days before her passing, on Tuesday, January 10th, fans noticed that she seemed to be speaking a little slower than usual and looked a bit frail, even grabbing onto the arm of Jerry Schilling while being interviewed by Billy Bush for Extra TV. And she even needed help from both Austin Butler and Schilling to get down a set of stairs. A bit later though, she would praise Butler for his spot-on and authentic depiction of her father for Baz Luhrmann's biopic, Elvis. Then, tragically, 2 days later, she was found unresponsive in her LA home after seemingly going into cardiac arrest. She was rushed to the hospital, placed into an induced coma, and given a temporary pacemaker. Now, her mother, Priscilla, arrived at the hospital after the paramedics had performed CPR and given Lisa Marie epinephrine. Priscilla sent out a message asking fans for privacy and their prayers before she announced, a few moments later, that her Lisa Marie had indeed passed away. Of course, tributes to Lisa Marie Presley came pouring in. Her ex-husband, Nicolas Cage, made a statement through his manager saying, quote, "This is devastating news. Lisa had the greatest laugh of anyone I ever met. She lit up every room and I am heartbroken. I find some solace believing she is reunited with her son, Benjamin." Also, actor John Travolta, who was friends with Presley, wrote that he would miss her and that his love and heart goes to Riley, Priscilla, Harper, and Finley. There were some unresolved legal battles over some of Lisa Marie's finances and the $100 million fortune left by her father as well. She was still battling with Michael Lockwood over child support payments for Harper, Vivian, and Finley. Lisa Marie had been dealing with a large amount of debt as well, being $16 million in the hole thanks to some bad business deals made by Barry Siegel, her business manager. She even sued Barry for mismanaging her inheritance. Also, unfortunately, this sudden passing has also brought up the conversation around a supposed Presley family curse that fans have been speculating about going all the way back to the birth of Elvis himself. Now, personally, I don't believe the curse to be true, and I don't really enjoy the idea of playing into an idea of a family curse so recently after the passing of an individual, but it is true that the family has had a very tragic history of passing away at younger ages. When Elvis Presley was born 82 years ago, he was actually born as a twin. His identical twin brother named Jesse was born 35 minutes before Elvis himself, but without a heartbeat. This would cause Elvis's parents, specifically his mother Gladys, to be somewhat obsessed with her surviving son, and eventually led to her drinking and even her early passing at the age of 46 from heart failure. But she also instilled Elvis with the idea that he was destined for great things because of the loss of his brother. Gladys would say that when one twin dies, the survivor grows up with all the additional qualities of the other, which could have turned out to be very true, as Elvis rose up from his poverty-stricken origins in Tupelo, Mississippi, to going off to play out of town, then around the country, and even around the world, being able to eventually move to Graceland and buy his loving mother a house all of her own, just like he promised her he would back when he was a kid. But still, Gladys also had 3 brothers, and each one of these brothers had also passed away in their 40s due to heart failure or lung complications. As for Elvis's father, Vernon, he passed away when he was 63 after suffering from a heart attack in 1979, 2 years after Elvis himself passed. Of course, we have also talked about the passing of Benjamin at 27, and then there is Lisa Marie herself. Curse or not, the family has gone through some incredibly hard times, and especially now with the loss of Lisa Marie Presley, I think we should all send them our thoughts and not try to attribute some otherworldly force like a curse for the harsh reality of life. Lisa Marie is survived by her daughter Riley, who is 33, got married to her husband Ben Smith Peterson in 2015, and has actually found some success in the acting world. She even appeared in one of my favorite movies, Mad Max Fury Road. Lisa Marie is also survived by Harper and Finley, her 2 14-year-old daughters with Michael Lockwood, and I don't doubt that they'll have a pretty bright future ahead of them. And of course, Priscilla Presley is still alive, and she actually looks really great for being 77 years old. Good job. But that's all the time we have for today. I'm Adam Andrews, this is Where Are They Now. Stay safe and well informed out there, and I'll catch you guys next time.